All right, so day two, we're going to go over Ethereum, and we're going to go over Axis Infinity. And we're going to go over the same things that we went over yesterday, or last time. Basically, you're going to see the same formations, and we're going to go deep dive into them, all right? You should subscribe and like my channel. That's definitely what you got to do. Definitely what you got to do. If you don't subscribe and like my channel, I'm going to be a very upset person because I'm giving you a lot of great information. I'm giving you a lot of free money and ideas and things like that. So, yeah, all that good stuff. So, of course, the other one, big one, Ethereum. And here's what I'm talking about with these equal highs with the break structure. This one had a couple actually. So of course this one came down. As it was coming up, you have it shot up. So it just kind of created this one equal line area that looked like it was going to be resistance, correct? Well, unfortunately, that's not how this works. That's not how smart money works. That's not how the bankers play this game, right? They do that so that you think that it's going to be a resistance, right? So, and then of course, you know, they'll give it one more attempt up here, and then you're like, nope, and you start selling off with it. You know, you start chasing it with a future or something like that, or you know, you're selling short, and then all of a sudden it gets to right here, and you think you're safe, and you got your legs kicked back, and then all of a sudden it starts doing this, and you're like, oh well, you know, it's not going to do anything. It's all right, you know, whatever. Boom, and then it takes off, and then you probably already moved your stop loss or something like that, and it took you out of the game. So that's why I always say be careful, be wary of these equal high areas, these double tops, triple tops. You know, some of these areas, they are not what they seem to be, especially if they are forming on top of a fair value gap, and that's what these are pretty much doing. I want to say these are probably like a 4-hour fair value gap. That's what I was looking at most of these earlier with. Yep, right at there. 4-hour fair value gap all the way across. And so, of course, it runs right through it. And then since it does that on the 4-hour, look what we have. We have another imbalance. So what's it going to do? Well, first it's going to come up here and create a bunch of equal highs to make you think that this is a resistance point, and then fall backwards, come back down to that imbalance, and also there isn't a second imbalance here. Boom, there we go. And then now that we see that there is a second imbalance and it has filled both of them, comes back up, fills this one too. Both imbalances are filled. All right, so the chart has done exactly what it is meant to do. You know, fill those imbalances. It also look for liquidity, and I'm sure it did all of that. Here was the liquidity line, right? Everybody probably trying to sell short, but instead, boom, went right through them, took them out and took out their stop losses, came up here, created more liquidity, dropped all the way down. Everybody thought they were probably going to be chasing it down, and honestly, if you chased it from here to here, you probably got a good decent chunk of money, not gonna lie, depending on how you played it. And then again, boom, this one just comes up, and you can see it had a little bit of a hesitation right here, but that was because of kind of a bearish order block kind of stopped in the middle of it, but it just didn't have time, came back down, bullish order block right there, which would be this red candle here. Pull that all the way across as soon as it comes back down, kind of closes in that space. Again, that's that void, that it needed to fill. And then boom, and this one took off. And then, of course, once it got above the fair value gap of the weekly, it got above the fair value gap of the daily. And then now we have this, but even though we have this big open area, if you actually take a look at the candles, these candles are actually working well with each other. They actually rebalance the entire way. So I don't think we're going to have an issue of it coming back. We could possibly, just because this wick went way lower than this candle right here. But I personally don't. I mean, if we put this on like a 15-minute, it's going to look like a regular chart. I don't think we're going to have any issues with that whatsoever. Yeah, you kind of do have this big imbalance right there, but we already have this over here. I do not see, because this one basically came up to where this was anyway. Yeah, I just don't see, and that's why this took off, because there was no point for it to stop and do anything because the imbalances have already been taken care of. Again, that's when it moves on up, and again, here's where we have the orange line's already kind of there, but it did jump into this fair value gap, pull back, and then you can kind of see it pull back into these fair value gaps. This is why I always draw all my fair value gaps out and just extend them out as far as I can, because you never know what that's going to bring, right? How far these are going to go into it, what it's looking for to try to cover that fair value gap up. More than likely, whenever it gets to the discount side of it from the top end anyway, that's when you're more than likely going to have the bullish reaction, because you've already filled the imbalance. So now Ethereum it's making its way on up, and I did not expect that today, but hey, I can't complain. If Ethereum wants to do its thing, I'll let it do its thing. And where is it going to next is the question. I think that's why I have this orange line drawn here. I think that's where may have the next. I don't know. That doesn't look so right. Well, I guess kind of right in that area is where you do have your bullish order block, or your bearish order block. I mean, sorry. So where it would stop it and kind of give it a little push down, and then again it could stop there and do that same thing, kind of move like right along there, make it seem like it's consolidating, maybe give a little pullback, push back up, and then pull back again, and then boom, ram right up to it. This is what I always warn about, and I've seen it so many times tonight. It's not even funny, and I hope you guys haven't been getting caught in this. I haven't, luckily, because I've just been seeing them coming from a mile away. That, and there's just been a couple other safe ones that I've actually been trading. It hasn't been moving a whole lot, but Sushi, I've got a 3x leverage token on with Sushi. It's been doing good so far. I think I had some Axis Infinity too. That was doing really well. So now we have this. All right. Now the question is where do I want to put this next fib, right? Do I leave it here? Because this is the last low, right, before it comes up and breaks the market structure, because right here is the market structure. Well, actually, this comes up and breaks the market structure. So technically, it could be down here, but that's just way too low. I'm not exactly for sure exactly how this is going to play out, because there's so many fair value gaps and so many breakers, and I just wouldn't even know where to start. All I know is that I think I would leave the 100 here, right, and anything above this is gonna be just kind of breaking through that Fibonacci, and then probably pulling back, and then I have a feeling, I don't know, I have a breaker daily here, so which means I need to get to the daily chart. FEG weekly, okay, so we're above here. All right, so here's the daily, so that's from over here. All right, so this thing has actually run up through it. Okay, so we are up here. Jeez, are we up here? We can't be that. No. Okay, we're right here. Jesus. All right. I'm getting way ahead of myself here. But the good thing about the dailies is even the dailies, again, have been have been rebalancing themselves, so that they've almost been, the wicks have almost been touching, which is good, which is mean it's not leaving a fair value gap, right? And then we got this guy right here. That is a daily fair value gap, but it looks like it's already taken care of that one. And so now where is it going to go? And I say, okay, this is breaker 1 hour. And if it's ran down through the breaker, that means coming up on the opposite side is where it would give it trouble. So we have a fair value gap on the 4 hour and then the breaker right here. It looks like Ethereum could be coming to a little bit of a slowdown, or it could possibly run right. I mean, this wouldn't surprise me at all. Run right through all of this, touch the top of the, the fair value gap of the 4 hour, pull back, see if there's anywhere it needs to pull back to. It could pull all the way back down into here. Don't know. Only because there is that opening here. We do have that, I want to say void, but it's not really a void, imbalance. We have that imbalance right here. Even though maybe over here would kind of take care of it, I think this might have helped the imbalance right here, and that's why I kind of ran through it. So we might be okay in the fact that this could come up here, run to the top, fill the imbalance, and then we can kind of move on. And then we will see what's going to have to happen after that, because after that it's just more imbalance after more imbalance. I mean, these are all, I think this is a daily fair value gap, so I might as well just go ahead and label it. And same thing here, daily fair value gap. And I drew this a long time ago because I knew eventually we were going to be coming up to this to try to get above these somewhat almost equal highs. Took us a long time to get back from there. I mean, that was back in December, but hey, at least we're making our way back up. And it doesn't seem like we're taking too much time consolidating on the way up either, which can be a little scary sometimes, because as we know from the last time, every time we would have like a huge bull run like this and there was no really consolidation, we would have a big fall and then a long consolidation afterwards, just like we've had since November. But it looks like things are finally starting to go our way. All right, let's check out Axis. Really haven't checked out Axis before, but Axis also is following along these same rules. As it was coming down and left a big fair value gap right here, as you can see, it came right up to it and boom, touched it. Boom, touched that fair value gap, just slightly entered it, got rejected. So that's how you can tell when things are a bit bearish. Otherwise, it may have gotten to about halfway, and then we would have seen what would have happened after that. We won't know because it didn't happen. What did happen is that if we look all the way back over here, we have this low point here, and that is your sell side liquidity, meaning that is the area to where people would be expecting it to be support. This is where they would have their buy limits set. This is where they would have their sell stop set in case it dropped down below it. They think they would catch, a breakaway runaway to the south. And instead, neither happened, right? Instead, what it did is it punched through, right? Anybody that had a short stop loss thinking that it was just going to, touch this line just because there is something equal to it over here, right? Doesn't mean it's always going to be touching it perfectly over, even though we've seen it in some other charts already. It does not mean that it is going to happen in every chart. There's no such thing as the perfect support. The charts do this on purpose to trick you to think that you're going to be able to get away with some kind of easy I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, some easy way to catch the chart at the right time, right? So you're thinking that, especially if you're watching this and it's coming down into this area and you're like, oh yes, perfect, this is the perfect time to bite because this is the sell side liquidity area, or the low, so this has got to be the support area. And instead it comes to the support area, because I don't think I pulled this thing down low enough. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, they broke, and they're currently being put together right now. Get the coordinates here. All right, yeah, you can see right there. It came down, touched it, went back the other way, made people think it was going to go. They chased it. What did it do? Boom, came right back against them. Started going again, so they start chasing it. Boom, came back against them. Came up again. they probably started chasing it again. What did it do? Boom, come back against them. So that's what I'm saying. You got to watch out for these areas. Now, I just stretched that out, and the reason I stretched that out is because I wanted you to see what it did to that area. It just basically consolidated, gave us equal highs. That way, people wouldn't know what to do in this area, right? People would be so confused because they would think, okay, so right below me is the support, but then right above me is the resistance. So what am I supposed to do? Well, easiest thing is that since it's already broke down and broke the support, the next thing you would be looking for would be where the next equal highs and lows are, or lows are. And these aren't necessarily, I guess you could say they are equal lows, but they're really not. These two are almost identical highs right here. Yeah, these may be somewhat equal lows, but it's already broke this low. There's no way I don't think it's going to come down and break it again. It could. Yes, it definitely could. But even if it did, be aware of that, and then you can catch it as it's on its way down, or as it's at the bottom, and then ride that back up. That way, because now that you have equal highs, you know that there's liquidity resting right above here. There's liquidity resting right above here in the form of, again, buy stops and sell limits. That's where the form of liquidity is resting in. So runs right through those. Right through them. So anybody that was selling short here, boom, taken out. If they didn't leave enough room, right? Sold short, and then they thought, oh, okay, so it's going short now, so we better sell because it look like it's going the way we think it's going to go. And then as soon as you do that, boom, it turns around and takes off again and goes right against you. So as soon as you think you're safe, you're not. It goes against you. And then what does it do? It pulls up into this area here. So this looks like this is a fair value gap. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. I think that would be a daily fair value gap if I'm not mistaken. Neither. No. Okay. Maybe I just didn't draw it out well enough, because this should definitely be right there. Yeah, that makes more sense because look, that almost hit exactly perfectly in the middle of that, in the middle of this box. That is the fair value gap. It almost hit perfectly in the middle. So now it's coming back down. What's it doing? It's touching the bottom of this fair value gap, right? It knows that that's where this imbalance is. And now that it knows that this where this imbalance is, now it's more than likely going to tick up. And now that I know that, give me a second, because I think I probably need to put a trade on AXS. Just a short one. I am not here to give anybody trade advice. I am just here speaking from experience of my own, knowing smart money and knowing how it works, especially with the crypto markets. I learned it in the Forex markets. But with crypto, it's become almost secondhand to me just because I learned it in the Forex markets first. So, now it's definitely going to it's definitely going to fill up this area here now. Let's see, we do have this right here, this big kind of area. Okay, that's not so bad, because I thought that would have been another area that was an imbalance that we would need to have filled. But it looks like the candles on the way up were balancing each other out. Of course, it came up, and as it crossed above here and came into, because look at this, it stopped right at that fair value gap. As soon as it blew past these equal highs, it comes right up, boom, fair value gap stops, drops, and then goes up the other way. So there's nothing random about this. So everybody thinks that price is random. No, there's nothing random about this. Price knows these. It knows these algorithms. It knows exactly where these things are in the charts, and it knows what it's going to do is, whenever it comes up to it the next time. It's something that's just been around since, the start of the market days, I guess you could say. Even Wyckoff, who I'm not, I thought I'd I thought Wyckoff was the answer, but Wyckoff just kind of gives you a good understanding of accumulation and distribution. He really doesn't give you much on manipulation, and that's where smart money comes in. Smart money is more about manipulation and how to read it, how to understand it, what to do from that point on. So once this guy, I think, is going to come up and we are going to see this one, this fair value gap, that's going to be the next challenge for Axis. We'll see if it gets up halfway through to it, which looks like it should be right to about there. So I am going to go ahead and put, there we go. Let's see if it gets to right about there. And look, you can see equal highs right here already. If you can't see them, then I think you're blind. Sorry, guys. So now that those are there, and what is that? 462, almost exactly, of the fib. And then it'll probably take some time to get above that next part. But still, I mean, we went from 100 something on Axis all the way down to 50 something. Now we're coming back up, and now we should be taking over soon. Matic, geez, we got so many more to get through. Wear your pants.